What's up, guys? CryptoSavvy here, and welcome to the channel where you subscribe to get daily updates every day on Bitcoin. We're going to take a look at both the bearish and the bullish case scenario. I'm going to tell you my opinion. You can make up your own mind. Don't forget, we have a free Discord group. There's a link to it below in the description. Definitely check it out. It's totally free. It's an awesome community, guys, and let's get into it. All right, guys, as always, I want to remind you we're doing a Kobo Vault Generation 2 giveaway, hard wallet giveaway at the end of the video. So definitely stick around to see who won. What we'll do is pick a random comment from a random video throughout the week, and that will pick the winner. You can also enter to win next week's prize by giving it a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel and leave your comments down below. Also curious, do you have a plan with what Bitcoin's doing? Leave that in the comments below too. I'm curious to see where everybody's at. But definitely check out the Kobo Vault Generation 2 hard wallet if you haven't already. Not your keys, not your crypto. All right, let's take a look at the Fear and Greed Index. We're at 78. We raised 2 points from yesterday. Still in the extreme greed. And let's take a look at the news headlines just to get a feel for the sentiment. This Bitcoin whale sold $12,000 BTC price after holding for 2 years. Chris Larson, executive chair of Ripple, argues China can reverse Bitcoin transactions. Public interest in central bank digital currencies surpassed Bitcoin in 2020. Leveraged funds take record bearish positions in Bitcoin futures. Top 5 cryptocurrencies to watch this week: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Atom, Neo, and CRO. As you guys know, I really don't care for alts. I mean, if you want to trade them, you can make money trading alts, of course, but to invest in them and to really believe in them, I think is a little ludicrous. Digital dollar to be in competition with Bitcoin. Bitcoin price options open near interest nears all-time high. Sorry, guys. Wow. But rise inputs could presage drop. So there's a little bit of bearish sentiment in that news, but all in all, if you look around, everybody's still pretty bullish. We'll take a look at what's going on in the macro here. This is the monthly, guys. We still have nothing but lower highs in the macro. As you can see, this yellow dotted trend line, we will keep an eye on that throughout each chart as we go down. We are going to work down to the smaller time frames. I'm going to tell you key areas where I'm watching. Also, keep in mind we're making higher highs in the price action, lower highs in RSI. That is bearish divergence. And let's take a look at the weekly. So our weekly close still below this RSI trend line, but let's take a look at what's going on here. For the bullish case scenario, looking at these yellow lines as a falling broadening wedge, take a measured move of the widest point of where it broke out. That gets us around the 16,000. Then if we look at, let me get this line out of our way. If we look at the thicker white trend lines here, looks like a triangle and a measured move of that, getting us up to, from where we broke, around the $27,000 range, right in that area, 27 to 28,000. That is the super bullish case scenario. If we were to come back down and test our yellow dotted trend line, as of right now, if we came down this week, would be around 11,200. A break of that, most likely coming down to retest this trend line, depending on where it could be. We'll take a look at those targets. We also have all the way down here at the 6150 level is the 200 EMA. So keep that in mind. It's down there. I'm going to show you what I'm seeing. First, make sure you guys have a plan if you are trading, and if you are interested in trading, definitely check out Primexbt. I'll leave a tutorial up top. This is what I'm currently using. I'm actually in a trade now. In this account, there is 1 Bitcoin. I am up $12. I'm currently shorting. My stop loss is at 11,875. We'll see what happens if it breaks that. Then we'll look for another trade. But as of right now, I am short in the market. Also, looking at this, you can see I don't need multiple screens. With Primexbt, you can do it right on there. You can put multiple charts. I'm looking at the daily Bitcoin here. Over here is the 4 hour, 1 hour, down to the 15-minute. So, yeah, just another cool feature they got. You can also trade tons of different stuff on here. You could trade Litecoin, Bitcoin, EOS, Ethereum, Ripple, whatever you want to trade on here. Oil, gold, silver, all that stuff, just by using your Bitcoin as collateral. And if you use promo code SAVVY50, you'll get 50% on top of whatever you deposit up to 1 Bitcoin as a bonus. SAVVY25 will get you 25% off of your fees. All right, looking at the daily, just looking at this as a possible rising broadening wedge. If we were to come down and break this level around the 10.5 zone, we could see possibly as low as 3,600, 3,500. You guys know there is a gap down there. Not saying it has to fill, but people need to be aware that it is down there. We also have this trend line right here, the white dotted trend line. If we were to come back down and test this area, it could be around the $8,000 zone. Obviously, it would be depending on where we would hit it if we do get down that low. As of right now on the daily, the 55 EMA lies around 10,850 area. That's where I would be watching. Look at the RSI on the daily. Does look like a rising wedge. The question is, what are we going to see from here? Are we going to come back up, retest the top here, or come down and break down here? I believe there's a good possibility we break down here, but like I said, we're going to zoom in and take a look at what the charts are telling us. Also, I want to remind you, another way to help support the channel, guys, is my wife's webpage, anchorimage.com. There's a link down below. Definitely check it out. A lot of cool crypto stuff on there. She can put any crypto you want, not just the stuff you see on here. Just hit her up in the contact. Any saying, any whatever you'd like on this stuff, she can put on there. So, all right. Another look at the daily. Remember, we had been watching this rising, broadening wedge here, where we did break down last March. If we were to come up and retest that trend line, which would have been old support, become new resistance, could be around that 13,000. And we've been talking about that on the weekly RSI. I will go back to that real quick so you guys can see it. So this is the weekly RSI that we have been watching. I said there is a possibility we come up and retest this area, and that could be around the $13,000 zone. That is what I'm looking for. Or do we just turn and come back down to retest the bottom? Now that would be pretty damn bearish, guys. We could go pretty far down here. So let's take a look at where we're at. All right, there's a few different ways I want to look at this. First, you can see the solid white trend line, and that is just a trend line off of these wicks here. And then we have the dotted trend line going this way. That was our bull flag over here. And let's take a look at if we were to break down, looking at this as a rising broadening wedge, that is a bearish sign. If that was to happen, if we were to BART down here and break this 96 area, I do have a target of that. If that is a rising broadening wedge, all the way down to the $6,400 to $6,500 range. And I want to point out to you guys, if this is our top and we don't make it up any higher, this is the swing low to the swing high. The Fibonacci retracements are here in white. The first retracement area would be about 10,450 to 10,500, which would also be our neckline for what people were considering a inverse head and shoulders. I'll show you that real quick. This being the left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and broke the neckline. We could come back down to test this 10.5. If that does hold, then it could actually be bullish like most people are thinking. But if that does not hold, we'd be looking at these lower targets like I said. But let's look at, this is the 0.236 fib of the retracement of this whole move is 10,450. 9150, 9200 is going to be the 0.382 fib. And then we have 0.5 fib at 8150. And of course, our golden pocket zone is in between 6850 and 7120. If that does not hold, then we could be looking at that 6500 area. That is the target of this breakdown. And if we get all the way down to the 0.786, that's 5680. And then, of course, if that was the break, we do have our gap way down here, guys. Yeah, that's it for the daily on this chart. Let's look at, you know what? we will look at that as a inverse head and shoulders there. We do have a measured move, and that's around 17,000 if that's the case. But keep in mind our yellow dotted trend line from the beginning. For it to come back down here, the 11.2 area is, if we break that, then I'm pretty sure we're headed down to at least the 10.5 area. And if that breaks, you know, then we could be looking at this as a rising broadening wedge, which is bearish. And that would all depend on where we broke that to where the target would be. So we'll keep an eye on that. Is there anything, whoops, this out of here. Anything in the RSI for the 1 hour in this one? Same thing. Nothing special. All right, let's look at the 4 hour. So in the 4 hour, same thing. We have that possible target of 13,000 if we do manage to get a run up. If not, we could be coming back down. If you look here, what I have drawn in here seems to be a rising wedge. If that's the case, a break of this bottom trend line here, the support, depending on when we would get there, if we were to come straight down fast today, it would be around the 10.5. Otherwise, within next week, it could be all the way up to $11,000 range, depending on where we hit this. But if that breaks, the measured move for that is around 6,000, and that would be taking the widest point of the wedge over here to where we break, depending on where it breaks. If the sooner we break, the lower it goes. So keep that in mind. And we still also have all of our Fibonacci retracements right here that we've been watching. Let's look at the RSI here. We were watching this trend line in the 4 hour. We did drop below it. Was that a bear trap, or do we move this bottom trend line? But we did come back and retest it again after breaking back above it and got support. So let's move this down and just keep an eye on these in the 4 hour. All right, now this is the 1 hour chart. Now this is where it gets interesting, because I had this drawn out as a possible rising wedge. People are looking at it as a bull flag. I'm not saying it isn't, but I don't believe it is. As of right now, this 11,850 range, if that was to break and we get support back inside this, then what we could be looking at is a rising channel, looking at this bottom trend line here. But as of right now, we are getting rejected on the bottom of this wedge. If we come back down to retest this, looking at it as a channel, could be around the 11,100, 11,200, depending on where it would hit here. And then if we take a measured move of this wedge here, let me get the RSI out of our way. Take a look at this wedge, the solid line structures. Bring it down to where we broke down. That gets us a target around 10,000. It's actually around 10,100, right in that range. If we look at this and we do come down here and break this bottom trend line, looking at this as a rising channel, then our target would be, depending on where we broke, of course, guys, could be looking down to, and that doesn't mean it happens in a day. But anyway, around that 95, 9,600, which would close that 9,700 gap that we have down there. So that's what I'm looking at here. But if we do break above the 11,850 and get support back up here on top of the trend line, I'd be looking for at least 12.6 to 12.7. And then if that was to break, then possibly our 13. But as of right now, like I said, it does seem like we are getting rejected pretty good on this trend line here. So keep an eye on it. And let's pick our winner from last week's. We had 7 videos. Let's generate a number. 7. So if we go back here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That would be this one right here. Let's copy the address, put it in here. We'll pick a random winner. Don't forget, you can win next week's too. And also, whoever does manage to win this, you can either choose the wallet or $50 in Bitcoin. So it's up to you, and let's see what's going on. Go down here, pick a random winner. Chris L., you won. Get a hold of me in my email, and I will discuss how to verify that it's you. And once we do that, you can make a decision to either take the 50 in Bitcoin or the hard wallet. Thanks a million for watching, guys. Don't forget to smash the likes. Click the Crypto Savvy logo above my head to get you subscribed to the channel. Leave your comments down below. And yeah, that's it. Have a great day. I'm out.